Well, cancel culture continues to live on as woke snowflakes, sorry, I said it, can't seem to take a joke. Beside me, I have a really funny guy, a Trudeau impersonator, who is also a very talented pianist, to tell you his latest battle with cancel culture.
As Canadians, it's time for them to step up and to do the right thing and to realize the infinite dignity of each individual's laundry needs and supplies. Am I perfect? I've only made one mistake ever. Last week, I left the setting on whites instead of the diverse and inclusive colors. This resulted in a larger carbon footprint and an unsustainable use of energy. And even more tragic was the loss of one sock. And black socks matter. Merci.
Drea Humphrey with Rebel News, and this is John Stetch. You also go by John Julian. Now, let's start with your career as a pianist. Brag a little bit. Tell everybody your skills in that area.
Okay, so I lived in the New York City and state area for 25 years. I'm a New York City Steinway artist. I have 16 albums out that 7 of them have been Juno nominated. And I've played at all the major jazz clubs, not all of them, but many major jazz clubs in New York, and toured several continents. I've taught at Cornell University, UBC, Ithaca College, and Vancouver Symphony Orchestra School of Music, and a few other places.
So you're the real deal when it comes to a musician, but also you've been getting a lot of attention, especially on your YouTube channel. Actually, most of the attention you're getting right now is because of your great Trudeau impersonations.
Bonjour tout le monde. Earlier today, I said that I would be appointing a special rapporteur to investigate any possible foreign interference in our beautiful and wonderful, perfect and accurate democratic election process. We take this very seriously. In fact, so serious that I had to find a fancy French word that you've probably never heard before.
But it is those impersonations that have been used against you in a recent campaign to have you canceled from 2 events. Tell us what events those were, what were you supposed to do, and what ended up happening.
Right, so Frankie's Jazz Club and Tyrant Studios both emailed me a few days ago saying that, I'm sorry, John, we're going to have to cancel because there have been some complaints about your recent Trudeau videos. And they didn't want to get involved with the politics or the drama.
All right, I'm going to read a little petition went around in the jazz community, am I right? And it only had 40 signatures to get you canceled. I mean, that's disgraceful if you ask me. But one of the accusations here, among many, is that you have been publishing troubling and often bigoted content on your various social media channels. Let's take a look at one of their complaints.
One of the greatest compositions ever known in all of history is our Canadian national anthem, and that's the song that I get the most requests for. Since its inception at a time when the indigenous elders of the Muckaluk people first set foot into the waters of the Shuswap, it has become a classic. I hope you enjoy my rendition, and I've chosen the key of B-flat major because it contains at least 2 black notes, and black keys matter. Oh, Canada, our home and Aboriginal Indigenous First Peoples Nations land. With true patriot love, soon all guns will be banned. With growing heart cases on the rise, and our true North gender free. From far and wide, all the truckers come in. But I'm glad for my Ottawa police, even though they don't speak English. God keep our land. That's referring to me. glorious, not free. Oh, Canada, you stand on guard for me. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for him, her, thee, they, everyone, a he, she, who, what, when, where, how, identify, over and under, into, nowhere, here, there, everywhere, those, theirs, these, ours, please, end this song. Merci.
I think that's hilarious, but it's not about me. This is for the public to decide. Let us know in the comments. But the accusations in the petition for that video we just showed is that Stetch's altered lyrics of the Canadian national anthem are anti-Indigenous and anti-LGBTQ+. And you also make derogatory references to the Black Lives Matter and the Black community. Whoa, that's a lot. Now, what is your comment to say that this is anti-Indigenous? Let's start there.
Okay. So all I said was, I made up some stuff. First of all, I'm in the character of Trudeau.
Yeah.
So it would be a caricature, an exaggeration of if he sang the national anthem and rewrote the lyrics. He always talks about Indigenous things going on. And so I said, I made up a fictitious thing that the anthem was created at a time when the Indigenous elders of the Muckaluk people, I just made up a word, it's not a big deal, first set foot into the waters of the Shuswap, because it sounds like it fits, right? And it's just a, historical thing that is made up just to be funny. And then I go into, Oh Canada, our home and Aboriginal, Indigenous, First Peoples Nations lands, because I was trying to make fun of the fact that every few years, they change it to something. Oh, no, you can't say that. No, it's politically incorrect. You have to say this word now. You have to say this word now. And I'm fine with doing that, but I'm just saying I wanted to put all of them in there. Yeah. Just and say it fast because it sounds funny. And Trudeau's trying to be, he would try to be politically correct. So he would put all of them in there.
You're right. He likes to say that, let everybody know that's what he cares about. And then during the National Indigenous Reconciliation Day, end up, sneaking off to Tofino. And so I think that's what your humor is pointing out here is some of the hypocrisy in Trudeau. Correct me if I'm wrong. And that also is sometimes why you do blackface. Am I speaking too far? Is that what you were going with? Or are you just a racist who has done blackface as many times as Trudeau?
No, I was only trying to portray Trudeau because he did the blackface many times. And so I was just trying to stay accurate. And in each of those skits, I would give a different excuse why he looked like that. Like one, the gunpowder blew up in his face.
Bonjour tout le monde. Comment ça va? Je m'appelle Justin. As much as I love Canadian people, after Christmas, I got back from Jamaica and I decided that I would go back once again. Unfortunately, I stayed in the sun a little bit too long this time, and I started to feel sick. So I went to see a doctor, and I said that I had a sore throat. So he said to stick your tongue out and go, ah. When I was down there, I learned that I fit in with the other folks and with the African Canadians down there. And I loved it. And they loved me. I could tell. Because when I waved to people, they would wave back with all their fingers.
Well, when it comes to poking fun at Canada, Prime Minister Trudeau is open season for a lot of comedians and just people in general. Even in international news, they point out often how he's done so many blackfaces. But traditionally, comedians, they make jokes about race, they make jokes about social issues, and you don't hear about many of them. Some of them, yes, but you don't hear about many of them being canceled. Why do you think you're being targeted in this way? Or do you have any idea?
I have a few theories. It's very bizarre to me because obviously there's South Park and other shows that are way crazier, right? And it's like, I think my stuff is actually fairly safe in a way. And I even work on that to kind of make sure it's not, I'll even run it by people. And so I think it has to do with that most comedians, they work in the comedian circuit where I'm also in the music world, which is a little bit different temperature of tolerance for, the window is this big. You have to stay within that window of politically correctness and follow this sort of top 5 agenda that they're all doing.
Yeah, maybe. Now, another video, they've put all these links here. Maybe that got you a few new subscribers when they put in the petition on your YouTube channel. But they've pointed out a video you've done about Dr. Tedros, and he's not actually a medical doctor, by the way, but the head of the World Health Organization. And many of the people following your humor are people who are concerned about the loss of freedoms, including that from medical tyranny in Canada. So this is a relevant joke to your audience in that area.
Hello, this is Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus. Try to say that very fast 3 times backwards. My wife calls me Teddy Bear. Most of the world thought that we were close to being finished with the devastating COVID-19 pandemic. Unfortunately, it will continue as long as you listen to us. However, we are running out of scary things to tell people. So, we are urgently hiring and looking for creative characters to help us come up with more scary things.
And the accusations against you for that, what we just watched, is that Sketch puts on an Ethiopian accent mocking the name and culture of Dr. Tedros of the WHO. And they say, though this isn't a visual blackface, it is a minstrel show take on digital blackface. So to me, when I look at that, I go, okay, you're not just blackface crazy, or else you would have just, dressed yourself up for him, but you did the voice. What is your response to, getting basically called a racist for doing that?
Okay, so a friend sent a caricature of several politicians, and I said, oh, you have Tedros too, because I've been wanting to do him because he's got a very fascinating accent. I've been kind of trying to do it because not many people try to do him. And I wanted to get my little statement about WHO, which I don't like. So I just put a little humor in there, how they try to scare people. And then I finish off with, and the reason I'm in charge because it's cool to have a black guy in charge. I just thought that was funny. Like, why is that racist? I mean...
I don't know. You tell me in the comments, do you think that is racist? And I'm smiling when I say this, but really it's not funny at all what's happening to you. You have to make a living. You live in one of the most expensive cities in the world, Vancouver. And here you are looking forward to, I would imagine, to do these shows. Why don't you let people watching, especially if anybody who signed this petition or maybe has read the information, why don't you let everybody know how this has affected you outside of being canceled for those 2 events and what that feels like?
Well, it's just shocking to me because there's either no sense of humor, there's a gross misunderstanding here. All I try to do, and I put a lot of work into it, is to make people laugh using humor, and it's something I did since I was a kid. And the fact that the tone of this petition is talking all about hate and evil, and then here I am, I have thousands of commenters every week saying things like, you've made my day. I don't laugh anymore, but now I laugh. I spit my coffee out. I get that all the time. And the fact that a few people have the power to just cancel your income and that club owners would cave in so easily to just a few young people who are mostly Capilano graduates of music. It's just unbelievable to me.
Well, and it doesn't have to just be things you personally find funny. It's if you don't find it funny, you want it canceled. What is that? It's concerning to see that this pattern happens. In Victoria recently, there were people calling to have conservative speaker and psychologist Dr. Jordan Peterson canceled. They didn't want him in Victoria because they don't like what he says to other people. And so it is a bit of a concerning thing. So I am pretty confident that many of the people watching here will want to check you out on YouTube. So say your channel name and also let people know where they can find you in the Lower Mainland if there's anything coming up.
Right. So it's John Julian on YouTube, and I suppose it would come up also if you put in something like Trudeau Does Laundry or Trudeau Impersonations. And luckily, Corduroy Restaurant has offered us April 7 and 8. So I'm going to have my bands in there, and we're just going to play, and it'll be a great time.
Oh, Nice. So you can check that out. We've covered Corduroy. They're freedom fighters, already been canceled. So good luck trying to get those shows canceled. Now, I'll put more in the written description below about some of the nonsense said about John here, which, again, includes claims of bigotry. They even go as far as suggesting you're a Holocaust denier, even though your ex-wife of years is Jewish, and they use somebody else's words to do that. But if you are tired of this type of cancel culture stuff you're doing, I suggest you subscribe to John, which is linked in the article below. And if you also want to stand up for Jordan Peterson, whose college, his licensing body is now going after him for ideas he's put on social media, you can go to our special website called savepeterson.com, and you can take action there to help stand up for him. I'm Drea Humphrey for Rebel News, and this is John Stetch, John Julian. Thanks for being on Rebel News.
Thanks for having me.
I reached out to Tyrant Studio and Frankie's Jazz Club to get their side of the story on caving on such a wonderful talent so quickly. At the moment, I have not heard back. If I do, I will update that in the written link below. But if you want to join us in fighting back against cancel culture, you can go to savepeterson.com and sign our petition there to do so in a very easy way. Thank you so much. Drea Humphrey for Rebel News.